Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at Final Fight Revenge for the Sega Saturn. It was developed by the North American division of Capcom, later called Production Studio 8, which is actually the same studio that developed Maximo, and it was released in arcades in 1999 and on the Saturn in Japan only on March 30th, 2000, making it the last Capcom developed game to appear on the Saturn and the second to last game to be officially released on the platform. A Dreamcast version was in development but never actually came to fruition. This is a game that is typically looked down on as one of Capcom's crappier fighting titles, and if you were ever wondering if that's true, I'd say yes to it being subpar for a Capcom fighting game, but no to it being a bad game overall. As one might expect, Final Fight Revenge is set in the fictional Metro City and features 10 playable characters, all of whom appeared in the first Final Fight as either playable characters or as enemies, and there are no characters from either of the sequels appearing in this game. But that's fine, the first Final Fight had the most memorable cast by far, so I'm really pleased with the roster. Cody Travers is actually one of my favorite Capcom characters, and I really like his moveset in FF Revenge, which is actually very different from his usual Street Fighter moveset. You also get to play as fan favorites like Poison and Mayor Mike Hager, and as a boss you get to fight the zombified corpse of Horace Belger, the guy you punch out of a window at the end of the first game. He's got some pretty cool moves and he can break away in sections, but unfortunately he is not unlockable as a playable character, which is kinda lame. Don't ask me about the plot of this one, it's never really clearly stated, but I assume that Zombie Belger reforms Mad Gear and kidnaps Jessica again. Yeah, we'll go with that. Final Fight Revenge plays a lot like the other Capcom 3D fighters that were being released at the time, so basically controlling like a 2D fighter with the ability to sidestep thrown in. It plays at about the same speed as the Street Fighter EX games, and it even looks very similar to those. Every character has a pretty wide array of special moves that are executed in the traditional Street Fighter manner, and some pretty cool and sometimes really wacky super moves. Rolento tries to gun you down in a helicopter, Eddie E chases after you in his cop car, and if you win a round using Cody's super move called the Punch Out, he reenacts Kenshiro's death blow from Fist of the North Star. I love it.
You're already dead. Cody wins.
One thing that sets Final Fight Revenge apart from other fighting games is that there are a number of items scattered around each stage that you can pick up and use against your opponent. Not just the items you'd expect to find in a Final Fight game like knives and pipes, but even machine guns and rocket launchers, which I must admit is pretty awesome. It's really fun picking up a firearm and finding ways to work it into combos, and I really like this aspect of Final Fight Revenge. There will even be barrels and crates and stages that you can break open to get an extra item, including food, which gives a health boost to whoever picks it up first. I find this to be a pretty fun game, but it definitely has its faults. The controls can be a bit stiff and sometimes not as responsive as you'd like them to be. You kinda have to get used to them, which just shouldn't be the case with a Capcom fighter. Also, the computer AI is kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. It pretty regularly utilizes the turtle shell strategy and just stands still and blocks everything. On top of that, you get a grand total of 2 gameplay modes in Final Fight Revenge, Arcade and Versus, and again, not acceptable from a Capcom fighter released in 2000.
Somersault!
Graphically, I think Final Fight Revenge is okay. The Saturn isn't exactly known for its great 3D renders, but this isn't so bad. You do need the 4MB RAM card to run it though, so just keep that in mind if you were thinking about getting a copy. The stages are nice and diverse though, and I've always loved the character designs in Final Fight, so I'm happy with the look of this game. The soundtrack is also pretty good. It's mostly fairly subdued funk and hip-hop style tunes, and I like it. There's also a lot of really cheesy, bad voice work, and that's something that I actually like too. Overall, I dig the presentation in Final Fight Revenge. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it does have a certain appeal. So, Final Fight Revenge isn't on par with, say, Street Fighter, Rival Schools, or Star Gladiator 2, but I don't think it's a terrible game. I actually quite like it. It's fun, it doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I just really love the Final Fight franchise. However, if you take a look online, you'll see that this game typically goes for between $250 and $400, depending on which version you get and what condition it's in, and needless to say, it's definitely not worth that. If you somehow get a chance to play this game without emptying your bank account, I'd say go for it. It's more fun than popular opinion might have you believe. Check it out.